Welcome back. As promised, I am back for some more Disco Elysium.
I can't believe it's snowing again. It felt like springtime just a few days ago. Excuse me? Oh, well, I didn't write it there. I'm just sitting here. Okay. Since the street sign's messed up? Okay. What do you need? It's just water. No, actually, I think they call it the Martinez Inlet. There are some islands in the bay, but they're hard to reach. Some shops and a bridge. The canal bridge leads to the coast, but it's broken, I think. Just coast. There's a little fishing village there, and the harbor gates. Some kind of commotion, I think. I don't follow the local politics. There's the pier, the Cape Side apartment buildings, some more tenements. What do you mean? Yes, sir. District of Martin.
He knows where we are. He just wants directions.
No problem.
There are clothes inside.
Don't be shy. These are premium class.
Save the economy? That sounds off.
Haven't you heard, officer? We've got to be economically conscious. Recycle your cash, keep it in circulation. Don't buy new things. Buy eco. Very cool. The econ.
You find your hands deep in tattered and faded. The box smells like cat piss. Or like an old person with...
Economical, but also trendy. Look first hand, buy second hand. Keep the economy moving. Haven't you heard, officer? We've got to be economically conscious. Very cool. The economy thanks you, officer.
Something cold grazes your hand. Synthetic and sleek. A windbreaker.
Good choice, officer. Mega sporty. And it's only $4.50 for you, sir.
There's a pile of cheap sunglasses.
You like sunglasses, officer? I've got the latest.
These are all boring. Those UV stickers are almost certainly just there for the show. If anything, these lenses probably direct more.
These are all first-rate sunglasses. Premium design, superb material, very cool, UV resistant. Oh, very interesting choice, officer. Very high culture.
This is how a sea monster sees the world. You've become alright, but these actually make your vision worse. It's
Wow, officer. You look... And they can be yours for a mere 3 real. My regular customers have passed them all up because they've got no taste. But you found... What? Change your mind, officer?
Pity. Those actually weren't half bad.
Hello again. How can I help you? Let me have a look. Anything else you're thinking of selling? Another time, perhaps.
a couple of indicator lights are missing from this control panel. This panel usually closes the waterlock, turning it into a bridge that lets you cross the canal. You pull the lever all the way up and nothing happens. A spring brings the lever back to its original position. You still need to close the waterlock to get it. Wasn't there a sign over there saying functionality will be restored on Wednesday morning? A crumpled billboard reading, Samaran butter. Whatever it is, goat milk butter. The Samaran terrain makes it it's an acquired taste. Judging by the size of the impact and the parallel lines of burnt rubber, the cause was probably a motor vehicle. These look like the same tire tracks I saw earlier, in front of the whirling rags. Side slip marks indicated that the vehicle was traveling up the crater at 35 kilometers an hour. The black marks on the roof indicate that the vehicle vaulted from the crater to the roof of the shack. The panel served as a takeoff ramp. The vehicle soared through the air, hitting the billboard and upsetting the posts. Then it continued its flight, taking the billboard with it. The sign broke the vehicle's fall into the canal. The Samaran butter billboard still looks freshly painted, suggesting it took the plunge recently, within the past 72 hours. Still speeding, the vehicle made a loop and vanished into the fog along the coast. There are two good candidates, the Caprice 40 and the Linear G22. It's about the right size, and the tire marks look like they came from the skinny tires frequently found on that motor carriage. The Caprice 40 is a very popular model, with bank clerks, topping pie delivery drivers, secondary school teachers, cops, strippers dressed as cops, undressed strippers. A very sturdy but light motor carriage, more likely than most to survive that jump. The Linear G22 is not a particularly popular model due to its peculiar proportions, which the manufacturer's design team probably thought about for too long. You'd have to follow the tracks to be sure. The lieutenant looks on, waiting for you to wrap up your analysis.
Any theories about what happened here? What kind of car do you think it was? That's quite likely, from what I can tell. We're not traffic cops. Should we get back to the murder?
Somewhere in the depths of your alcohol-addled soul, you find a few threads that you can weave into a story.
The tip-top tourney champion?
The lieutenant patiently listens to the words coming from your mouth.
Jumping canals at night? If I was Jacob Irv, I wouldn't drive in Martinez. The roads are awful. In conclusion, it's a colorful theory, but I don't believe Jacob Irv did this. Should we go? If we must.
What happened here? It will still be accessible through the apartment next to it. That one didn't have a door. Sadly, nothing of great value remains here. Indeed. The tear machine stands in the Your bottles clunk into the machine, and the money appears. You're 100% sure you've got special Hobocop money for that tear. At least 100% extra tear money. If the numbers on the machine told you otherwise, it's a lie. The door is closed. There is no answer. You hear the shower being turned on. Somewhere inside, a tremendous loneliness comes over you. Everybody in the world is doing something without you. The door is closed. You should pick that fat, juicy cigarette butt from the tray. Light it. The window stands broke. You see some lights shimmering outside. You see some lights. A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face, adorned with the expression. A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face, adorned with the chain cutters slip out of your hands as you attempt to twist the faucet into place. Well, you know one thing for sure. You've probably never been a plumber. The fan is spinning. The blades come squeaking to a halt. The lights are on. The bed is cold and not particularly inviting. A tarpaulin cloak with possible RCM markings is still caught on the railing. The pockets of these new jeans are perfect for sticking your hand into. Makes you look cool. Hey, it's a chewing gum wrapper. It reminds you of the fruity juice of apricots. You should, by the way, the raw materials were most likely exported from Seaguy, the apricot suzerainty, and the luxury of fine things. Just look at those black monk straps. After spending an entire day hustling, who's to say that you didn't deserve a pair of ridiculously expensive shoes on your tired feet? Let's hope no one saw you wearing these outrageously expensive and ultra-liberal shoes. There it is again, the scent of apricots with a touch of cinnamon. Smells like the end of some distant summer, the surface of another planet, or some ancient temple. Yes, from the height of antiquity, a long, long time ago, millennia ago, on an island of time you can never return to. The sun sets into the sea, but the water does not boil. Instead, it turns to liquid gold. There is a movement next to you, the shuffle of a small coat, warm like the evening. But when you turn toward it, there's nothing. Why are you talking to a gum wrapper? Bitter, citrus, whatever petrochemical byproducts they used to create this until a blossom of skin and flower petals erupts behind your closed eyes, made of toffee, cream, and distance. You just had to take a dive. The worn map features the patchwork grid of the streets of Martinez, with directions to appropriately tour. An old call box with a matrix of push buttons lists all the companies in the East Delta Commerce Center. No, hold on. The last thing you need in your life is more hysteric emotions. Forget it. Find something else to do. Nothing happens after you ring the doorbell. They don't want to talk to you.
Hello again, my man. What's on your mind?
Is this about the questions again? Because I don't really know anything.
Reality? You mean?
She is like a student unexpectedly called upon by a teacher. Can she answer the classroom question?
I don't know. What about it? Cool.
You see several packaged raincoats fill a low shelf beneath a display of croissants and juice bottles. A small cabinet on the wall is filled with various medicine bottles, nasal sprays.
St. Baptiste. You know, the pharmaceuticals company. St. Baptiste Pharmaceuticals. The one that sells meds.
She is right. Saint Baptiste, the company, derives its name from Saint Baptiste, the city. Itself so named because that's what it is, a rare case where that... A colourful display of...
Again, I'm obliged to inform you that both alcohol and...
A small mountain of colourful board game boxes. There are numerous types of games for all ages. A lot of shelf space seems to be taken up by We're Out. The display rack is brimming with worn paperbacks featuring an extremely muscular, sword-wielding barbarian on the cover. Nearly all the titles...
Oh, Man from Hjelmdal. A very popular series of adventure novels. They're awfully immoral and violent books. Blood and violence, scantily clad women, epic narratives, all those mystical things he encounters. They're bound to grab those with... What does it matter? They're all the same. However, if you're a novice of the series, I'd recommend Hjelmdalaman, the Man from Hjelmdal. It's supposed to be a good introduction to the series.
Rows and rows of Hjelmdalamen blur your vision. You make out some title, maybe 100. Man from Hjelmdal and the sages at the end of the world. Not even close. Man from Hjelmdal in hell. Man from Hjelmdal and the forest of slaves. Man from Hjelmdal, nothing of interest. Only silence and the cosmic background pain radiation. These shelves are overburdened with books from a couple of spook novels hide amidst all the detective books. Thrilling tales of spy.
Oh, crime, robberies, murders, even sexual crimes. We're fortunate to have Dick Mullen and his stories to sort all that out. You're a police officer, apparently. You should buy all of these.
Note, reading about Dick Mullen would not actually make you a better detective. Crime fiction is a disgrace. And asinine these books greatly overstate the excitement of police work. What's more, they completely ignore the psychological hardships of year after year coming into contact with people during the worst days of their. Not a single mention of all the stress this work creates upon the officer's family. Detective fiction just doesn't tell the. You see, Dick Mullen on the job. Get me Mullen. A killing is declared. Dick Mullen in the murder house. Oh no, turns out he faked it to solve a case. Yes, there's also the dame who did it. Farewell, my Mullen. Fake tragedy calls for Dick Mullen. After all this, you still haven't found the answer to the one question that matters. Who is Dick Mullen? Your quick eye notices a small caterpillar crawling across the spine of a book. The title reads, Dick Mullen, a worn paperback from Dick Mullen's classic Hard-Boiled Phase. The premise seems to be that Dick Mullen is framed for the. Could it be the motifs of unstable identities and shocking betrayals? Then this is the book for you. Shelves full of biographies of famous people, whoever they.
I would say The Greatest Innocence. Yes, most certainly. It's an important educational tool delving into the depths of history. A very influential historical figure. But surely I don't have to tell you that. You're a law officer, and law officers have. The book is also very daring. The author aims to re-examine the universal understandings of the innocentic system, creating a fresh vantage point and a shift in the tired order of things. Certainly, it's prudent for a person to have at least an elementary understanding.
You feel like you should get this one. Definitely. It's important somehow. There's something personal inside.
A true cultural touchstone. Enjoy the read.
This bookstore is not strictly about crime, romance, and biographies of amidst the point of the book, and many others on this various paranatural books.
Sir, please, I can't have you end up, like, opening a police store next door and stealing my customers. Oh no.
You see a set of tattered curtains blocking.
Excuse me, officer. The back room is strictly for employees only.
You see some kind of charm, an irregular polyhedron assembled from bones, sticks, and straw. Inside, this is a traditional Seminese ward, meant to provide protection against ill luck, bad dreams. Inhabitants of Ile de Fantôme, the Seminine, aside from poking at it suspiciously, there is nothing else to do with the fishhead charm at this time. The curtains remain shut before you.
Nothing. Now please go back to browsing the books. Don't you feel compelled to look?
She speaks almost as if she's trying to put a spell. Oddly enough, the more she tries to draw you away from the curtains, the more alluring they become. The display rack is brimming with worn paperbacks featuring an extremely muscular, sword-wielding Bob.
Oh yes, certainly. Another good sale.
The Greatest Innocence by João Paulo. Browsing through the various chapters, You try your educational survey is done. Did you catch any of that? No. Oh well, that's the spirit. Here we go. Oh yeah, this is what I was made for. A pop quiz is a short examination designed. Thanks for nothing. Dolores Day. Dolores. Incorrect. Dolores Day was the innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state. She codified parliamentary democracy and created modern institutions. Among these, her colors are silver, white, and apricot. And when you think her name, Dolores, stomach at steer clear of this one. There's something terrible about this one. A strange sensation of loss. When she left the earth, the dust, and the ice. Yes, the quiz is impersonal. No need to rouse sensations in yourself at the mention of Dolores Day. Who was the first innocence? It wasn't Dolores Day. Correct. Nothing much is known about him. It's not even clear that he was a he, but Franco Negro presumed as such and called him Pius. He's depicted as a young man with molten gold pouring out of his mouth. All he spoke was gold. It's said he invented God and equality of men before God. He also as the first innocence, he declared that there should be more of those like him. It is presumed his disciples were. Question 2. Who? Easy. Everybody knows the answer to this. You, me, anybody. An innocence is the highest category of historical personage in the world, a literal personification of history. Traditionally, an innocence, I can do better. Okay, so commonly, an innocence does not enforce his or her power through military power. This is seen as unnecessary. The innocence wins because an innocence can't help but win. Damn. Dolores. Incorrect. Vespa Messina is not a person, but incorrect again. While she originated many modern, even though the words most associated with her rule are l'amour, la compassion, la autodiscipline, love, correct, named the innocence of militarism. He codified hereditary rule, but at the same time ended serfdom and established the inter-isolari real as the global reserve currency. He also established the concept of the nation. Franco Negro attempted to solve the rising tensions between the aristocracy and bourgeoisie by building a unified... Question 3. Got it under control. No problem. Solid on this one. It's widespread historical information. Incorrect. Stepan the Despicable, regent of Kedra, was a ruler who conquered the known world during the Kedriatic conquest, instead of the despotic Erno Pasternak. Would you try again? Incorrect. Kedra is a large nation in the... Correct. There have been a number of counter or false innocences. The most famous and important of these was Erno Pasternak. He was into torture. Final stretch. You've come so far and learned so much. I've got it. Honest. Correct. The Mesk might see Franco Negro as the father of nations, but as of this century, there's been a great shift in attitude. Dolores Day, everything from inter-isolary travel to the connected world. Congratulations on finishing the test. A D. Not particularly remarkable, but technically, you would have done better if you just left Dolores Day for the end. Dial the Dolores Day down a bit. This door is made of metal and appears to be no one answered.
We should return tomorrow. Tomorrow at 9 p.m.
The worn and beaten wood.
We can sit on bench.
You can revisit the bench.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge.
Can I help you?
The door is closed. Still no answer. Still nothing. The lieutenant gives you a quick glance. The worker is in a deep slumber. The cover of this tattered paperback features the man from Yeondar standing atop a pile of bloody corpses. His two Zweihanders are crossed over his massive chest in a drip. Behind him rise the harsh, snow-capped peaks of his native Northlands. In bold red letters, the title, Hyundalaman, the man from Hyundal, unfurls like a banner. In the foreground, the story opens in media res. The man from Hyundal and his band of northern reavers are in the bowels of an ancient temple, surrounded by an army of gibbering whites, led by the deathless necromancer. By nightfall, only the man from Hyundal and his blood brother, noble Tiribald, are left standing against the dead horde. 9 Tiribald. The man from Hyundal bellows over the army of flesh and bone. Have courage for the Northlands. For Hyundal. He leaps to the mezzanine to face the black-eyed figure, and like a mad ice bear, whirling twin Zweihanders, Sturm and Drang, he plows through the ranks. It is physically impossible for a human being to effectively dual-wield Zweihander swords in any kind of real-life combat, and with deadly finesse, his twin blades scissor the necromancer's head from its body. The undead legions collapse like ragdolls as the dark magic leaves them. A few chapters later, the man from Hyundal and Tiribald are in a completely different setting, high above an arid desert, riding a pair of griffins that always seem to appear at narratively convenient. This book makes a mockery of the very idea of good plotting, though something tells you coherence was never the point. The Northmen find themselves in the court of a powerful southern king, Lord Hrothgar. The old king beseeches the man from Hyundal to rid his kingdom of the Nathera, a subterranean clan of blind wizards who traded their souls for the man from Hyundal extracts a high price from the desperate king. He asks land for the homeless desert pygmies living exiled in the kingdom's borderlands. Hrothgar offers the hand of his eldest daughter instead, but the son of winter does not budge. You skip past a section detailing an elaborate banquet with many toasts. As well, in the center of the great hall stands a blood altar on which a pair of Nectera are disemboweling a shrieking peasant. As the vile ceremony ends, the sound of steel unsheathing draws the Nectera's attention to a pair. Swiftly, the visitors toss off their cloaks and unsheathe glimmering northern steel. It's the man from... In an instant, the Nectera summon a horde of gibbering orcanoids who rush our heroes. The hall... Oh, for fuck's sake. When the din of battle settles, only the man from Hyundal and Tiribald remain standing. Exhausted and dripping with the entrails of their foes, the two Northmen confront the foul Nectera. The man from Hyundal's soda-like blue eyes fill with indescribable... He probably is, but you can't be sure, because this one ends in a cliffhanger and a footnote saying, "To be continued in Hyundalaman." Considering the sheer amount of different Hyundalaman books out there, it's very unlikely you're ever gonna find the sequel. The man from Hyundal stares at you on the cover. The back blurb reads, "His latest adventure serves as the perfect introduction to the savage Hyundal saga." Below, in smaller font, you see the parenthetical, adapted from Man from Hyundal and the Necromancer's Treasure, a brazen attempt to bilk fans for more money by splicing together old stories under a new title. Their main concern is the continuation of the franchise, not making... Advanced race theory. Everything is calm in the eye of the...
We should think about calling it a day, maybe. The nights are still miserably cold this time of year. You should take care of that, then. Let's talk to him anyway. An officer of the RCM shouldn't be sleeping in...
Can I help you? Yes, have you got it? Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed you owe me?
I understand your predicament as the manager. However, I feel I must remind you that we are here to conduct an important investigation that also affects your business.
Forgive me for saying this, but your colleague seems more committed to drinking, and I mean no offense. It's really nothing personal. I just have to protect the interests of this establishment. Good luck trying to use it. All the locks have an electronic component. They have to be unlocked down here with a master key before your guest key. Well, not until you bring me the...
Okay, I might have something in my motor carriage we can use when you're done here.
Oh, Lieutenant, we're done here.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio...
I have something here we could sell. Look in the back, in the suspect transport enclosure.
Transport enclosure? Regular people just call it the cage. The cage at the back of the motor carriage looks rather uncomfortable.
I confiscated this for a little while back. We can take them to the pawn shop down by the Martinez Canal.
The lieutenant nods as you take the spinners.
Greetings on this fine night. What brings you here? The pawn shop is always open.
Yes, we'd like to sell these hubcaps.
Roy takes the hubcaps from the lieutenant.
Yes, these are very, very good. Did you
No one was defrauded or jumped, I assure you.
Of course, I meant no offense. 200 real for you, officer.
Thank you. Here's the 130 real you need for your bill. Do not waste it.
The rest is for him, to compensate for the pain of being separated from his radiant spinners.
Anything else you're thinking of selling? Another time, perhaps. Traffic? I'm sorry, officer, but I don't drive. Now that I think about it, I do remember hearing a thunderous noise the other night. Some kind of powerful electric vortex hitting the shop, and then moving on.
That sure narrows down our list of suspects.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. I didn't really know what to make of it, but I know it meant something.
Feeling warm and enthralled by the movement of light, while the mind continues to race forward, a drug developed by the military to treat and prevent radiation sickness. It has psychedelic side effects, and it makes your eye.
I try to keep the shop at a comfortable temperature. I'm not offended, officer.
can I help you? Yes, have you got... Well? Great, thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. If you continue to stay here, I just ask that you please pay your nightly bill in advance starting tomorrow. The electronic lock to your room has been disabled till 9 p.m. tomorrow. Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow. 20 real per night.
I'll take a room here too.
Of course. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. Anything else I can do for you?
This is the door to the room you redecorated.
Just a moment. We should talk about our progress on the investigation. Let's go out to the balcony.
The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic hum. Then...
Now then, we should talk about the investigation. But I also feel you're a bit hazy on the RCM. Our role here, our rights, our jurisdiction, basically. I have a cigarette every night when I go over my notes. It's something of a ritual.
Oh man, he looks so devastatingly cool with that cigarette.
You mean this? This isn't cool. It's an unnecessary trial.
Keeping the habit within the parameters he's given himself takes a lot of focus. It would be easier to simply quit. Yet, were he to quit, he would lose the cool factor. This man relishes his cool quite a bit, below it all.
Yes, it's been a long and eventful day. Well, we inspected the victim's body, so that's good. It was not easily approachable in that state. I would say our initial inspection was very thorough, and we have solid leads to follow up. The body is still hanging from that tree, which is unfortunate. But we performed a thorough search of the premises of the crime scene. That's great. We're both doing our best under the circumstances. Just don't drink tonight, please. As for the interviews, we weren't able to find the union leader, Everard Clare, much less interview him. So that's on the to-do list for tomorrow. We talked to Joyce Messier, but didn't get any information from her. I have a feeling Joyce knows how dangerous the situation really is. We have to get her to talk to us.
If Kim is emphasizing something this much...
Above all, though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that a standard Precinct 41?
I have a really good theory about why you're running so fast, son. Just you wait until we get up tomorrow.
It's impressive, especially for a man your age, and in those hills. Nice shoes, by the way. I like the green. Goes with the orange. They're quite limited, actually. The power officers of the Rebachol Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for offenses, in accordance with an interdepartmental schedule. The RCM's primary role is to ensure safety. We are not really supposed to play any part in the economic structure of Rebachol. Yes, although indirectly, as citizens can always request records from their local station. Officers of the RCM have been known to take bribes of less than the prescribed fine amount. It undermines trust in the RCM. We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station call slip. It prevents confusion and overcrowding. You can't. Those who don't show up become fugitives, though, and have fewer legal rights when they are eventually caught. It's about power projection. As you may have gathered from the fact that we are expected to carry a record of our kills, like the one in your watermarks, we are permitted to use whatever force is necessary, and strongly admonished not to abuse that power. You have to supply compelling evidence for why it was necessary to use lethal force. In these cases, you're not a good position to be in, by the way. Internal Affairs handles these cases thoroughly, by cross-examining you for inconsistencies. It is hard to cover for anyone. Yes, the last time was 4 years ago.
He has internalized it well. It's just that. A fact. A self-contained past event.
We don't convict. We arrest and send them to coalition government courts in Couron and La Delta. The prosecution works off our testimonies and records, which is why it's paramount to keep them. Yes, the international community's mission in Revachol, and the moral intern more broadly. The RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order in the international zone after the revolution. So we did. Now we attempt to maintain that order. No more, no less. Or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Revachol or the coalition government founded the RCM. Be sentimental if you like. Either way, the moral intern leases us the right to keep the peace in this city, and they will take it away if we misuse it.
Or if they think you do.
The Moralist International are the world's largest political organization. You know who they are. They have been running this place after the revolution failed. They're a union of center-left and center-right parties across the Real Belt. Our coalition government is just one of its many projects. They also run the ICP, EPIS, most intergovernmental organizations in the world. What do they believe in? They are Dolorians. They believe they continue the humanist project set forth by Her Innocence Dolores Day 4 centuries ago.
Those others say they continue the humanist project set forth by Dolores Day.
Interesting question. It's a blue forget-me-not. Their motto is love, compassion, self-discipline. I think you can gauge what they want you to think of them from that.
Something kind and usual. Something almost self-explanatory. Something even a little feminine. But in a strict manner. Something like the dark blue, serious color of the early night sky above.
The moral intern are a fact. I try not to have opinions on facts until they change. And it doesn't look like that's about to happen. A historic figure? The author of the modern age? You will have to look elsewhere for opinions. The subject of humanism is too Do you? We are in what is called the twilight of international law. The laws we claim to enforce come from the MI. Without them, we are simply vigilantes. Spoken like a revolutionary, not a cop. But hypothetical aside, in Martinez we already are vigilantes. At least the Union thinks so. I expect our job here to prove quite challenging.
The dying lights of the city shimmer below. Slowly, like luminous clouds, they pass on his lenses. An aerostatic passes overhead, the whiskers of its floodlights on the ground below. Kitsuragi's glasses light up as he looks to the sky. 2 glowing circles.
They really don't like us here. And the mouth on that kid, Kuno. It's different inland, in Jamrock and the GRIH. It's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the Union, to the company, not daring to come here more often. This place has fallen between the cracks, the jurisdictions of our 2 precincts. We run this city. West of the river is RCM land. It's incredibly hard. Human beings are... But we are in control, and it's worth it. The organization works, our systems work. If they didn't, the city would disintegrate. Me too, but I wouldn't count on any drastic changes in our lifetimes.
He is very tired, but the dark circles under his eyes make him look younger, not older.
Yeah, it's getting very cold now. Let's go. Yes?
The bed is cold and not particularly inviting, but it's yours. The sheets look awful. The sheets feel at once coarse and clammy against your skin. The bed sags beneath your weight as you stretch out, and then sleep. And then sleep doesn't come. Obviously, you're in bed with your eyes closed, but maybe it's the bed's fault. Its synthetic filling has separated into hard smells of alcohol and sweat and grease. It barely covers your toes, stretching over your soft belly. This is your body here, intimate and warm. It's a little better. Colors, scenes, and half-formed phrases still litter your mind. Part of something to do with, what was it that the lieutenant said? Union? And it's gone again. Your thoughts lost between the slow, your breathing steadies. A great silence washes over you until your eyelids twitch in your sleep, and images start forming.
Do you remember the scent of your childhood? You're not kidding anyone, Harry. You don't remember shit. Tell me, do you remember your wife's hand on your face? You know who I am. I'm the bad day. The one where you ask her, and then later in the streets, wandering. It's the worst day of all time, Harry dear. And it's coming. She will hear about it on the phone. Reality will turn into a grotesque nightmare. This will be the last thing you did to her. Tell me, do you remember the warmth of her thighs, between her legs and in her mouth? Oh no, funky baby, you stayed. It was the rest of it that left. Or you just stood there. Tell me, where are your friends? Human beings have friends, Harry boy. Where the hell are yours? No, it's gone. 3 times gone and never coming back. You failed. You failed me. You failed Elysium. Everything. The pale and the useless. On the surface. The outer magnetosphere. Burning, furious truth. 8,000 years of written history. You really dropped the ball, Harry. 4.6 billion people. And you failed every single one of them. You really fucked up. No, Harry. You were just talking to yourself. That's all you ever do. even in your dreams. And the act is wearing thin. The spots of the disco ball fade around you. You'll be back in those cold snakeskins in no time, sweating up the bed.
Stinky boy.
You're not coming back from shit, thrashing around in that high conductivity state of yours, bumping into things and acting like a clown. Who are you kidding? You're trying to what? I can't hear you. This is just a word dream now. Jumbled up garbage. The pictures are gone. The bed rises to meet you. A thin, sleep-like.
So something is wrong. Sleep shouldn't be this bad, this dry, this unnourishing. There's something wrong with your thoughts. Oh yes, party boy, and it's worse than the one before. Just think of the shit you saw. Here it goes. Time to go to work in the shit factory.
Good going, buddy. Oh, just a dream. You have ones like that all the time. You feel even worse this morning than you did last night. You mean, why are you so tired? Too tired and down to even think? It is worrying, isn't it? You can't be it. It's just that your heart has finally pumped all the speed out of your system, Buster. Time to get some more. You're too weak to say no now. Waking up is the worst part. Maybe somewhere down the line you could decline. Speed is a potent central nervous system stimulant. It kept you propped up all day yesterday, despite your debilitating hangover. How else did you think you even got up from this floor? It's power, man. It's professionalism. It makes you feel like you're young again and ready to detect. Ready to go to war against the world. Are you sure? Ready to live as this pathetic shell of yourself for days? Basically, a week. Let's be honest, 2 weeks. Maybe 3. You won't make it. Half the town will be dead by then. You will be fired. Suit yourself, slow, sad shell man.
So I think that is what we're going to call it for the night. So I thank you for watching, and we'll catch you all next time.